We got breaking news coming in. Let's bring in from Senate Judiciary and Senate Armed Services, Senator Blackburn. Senator, it's great to see you. The breaking news is this. China is now rejecting. China says no to a phone call with Pentagon Chief Lloyd Austin. Your reaction to that?
We should not be surprised that China said no to a phone call. China thinks that they are in control of this situation. They put up a spy balloon. They let it go sashaying across the United States, collecting data, then sending this back to communist China. And the CCP has had a heyday with this. I'm sure they're popping the champagne bottles. And they are just having a big old time, and they probably got a pretty good laugh out about, let's have a phone call about this.
Senator,
when someone thinks they're dominating you, Liz, they are not going to stop. And that is the position that China is in right now.
So, Senator, are you hearing the House will probe the president letting that Chinese spy balloon? It's as big as the Statue of Liberty, cross over the U.S. for 4 days over 24 military bases. Will the House probe that? We're hearing it will.
They should be probing that, and the Senate should be probing that because the American people want it to be probed. And here is the thing. If our DOD command team said they could not come out of Afghanistan because we ought not to come out of Afghanistan, and Joe Biden says we're coming out of Afghanistan, I'm the commander-in-chief, I make the decisions, then you have to say, okay, Joe Biden is now saying, I told them to shoot down that balloon, but they said they weren't going to shoot down that balloon. Now, people are saying, hey, this doesn't add up. So where's the truth? Is the truth about Afghanistan, or is the truth about the China spy balloon? Because Joe Biden was the commander-in-chief then, he's the commander-in-chief now. He's got the same people at DOD. That's not how this process works. And so people want him to address this. Why did he not want to shoot down that spy balloon? Why didn't he do it when it was off the coast of Alaska and just coming into our space? Why did he let it drift across the country?
We've got a brutal new poll. This one from Monmouth University. Monmouth University, new poll, a record 6 out of 10 say America is not strong under President Biden. Watch the president make light of how the U.S. should respond to this. Watch this.
TikTok, yeah.
Well, the answer, I'm not sure. I know I don't have it on my phone.
Why the Chinese would commit such a brazen act floating across the entire continental United States?
They're the Chinese government.
Senator, did you hear that? They're the Chinese government, so China can do whatever it wants? It sounds like this White House is making it up as it goes along.
We know that our allies should know they're our allies and that they can depend on us. And our enemies should know that they are our enemy and that they should fear us. This would never have happened under a Donald Trump foreign policy. Mike Pompeo would never have let something like this happen. And the fact that the Communist Chinese Party is ridiculing us, they are continuing to carry out a genocide against the Uyghurs. You look at what they've done to Hong Kong, you look at how they're threatening Taiwan, you look at how they are ridiculing the United States. It is time to get tough and to have a foreign policy that people understand. And this administration, for whatever reason, appears to be unable to have a consistent foreign policy in dealing with the Chinese Communist Party, in dealing with the axis of evil, as I call it, Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. These are people who do not wish us well.
Senator, you know, to this story, the leak over the weekend about the Chinese spy balloons under the Trump White House. The head of NORAD and NORTHCOM, General Glenn Van Herk, said they were not aware of any Chinese spy balloons, that the intelligence communities told them that after the fact, after Trump left, after Biden stepped into the White House. He's citing an information gap. Isn't that the big concern for our intelligence community, that they did not know?
It should be a concern not only for our intel community, but it should also be a concern for our Department of Defense. if there is that kind of gap. So this is another area, Liz, where you're going to see investigations take place and questions be asked. We're looking forward to a classified briefing on what happened with this, because if there are these kind of gaps, we need to be seriously looking at some pretty substantial changes.
It's to your point, Senator. We've got new sound coming in from retired four-star Marine General James Mattis. General Mattis never heard of Chinese spy balloons under the Trump White House. Watch Trump's former Secretary of Defense join the growing list of now more than a dozen Trump officials who dispute the Biden White House leaks over the weekend. Watch this.
You got to wonder, was it stupidity or left hand not telling the right hand what they're doing? Why the Chinese chose that time to do it? But there are some questions we all as Americans need answered, I think. You know, did it really happen during the past administration? Because there doesn't seem to be anybody from the past administration who's aware of it. I'm not for the first 2 years of that administration. And could we not have taken it down sooner? I mean, NORAD, North American Air Defense, has got a lot of Canadian fighters and the Alaska-based U.S. fighters up there intercepting Russian planes routinely.
Right, they're always intercepting Russian jets. So why didn't they intercept this balloon, Senator? I mean, Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, says the Trump team were, quote, unable to detect Chinese spy balloons. Word is they were initially classified as UFOs. And they only found out all about this until after Trump left office?
You know, it is so interesting to me. This administration kind of gets in a little bit of a hot mess, and then what do? They have to find somebody else to blame. It's not nothing's ever their fault. It is always someone else's fault. And this is the way they operate. Their press secretary goes out and does this. What we know is that we would never have known about this balloon if not for a citizen who was a pilot, who was a reporter, who had a great camera. He was there in Montana. He took a picture. He put it out there. He said, tell me what you know about this. This was a citizen seeing something and saying something, and then the White House has to go into overdrive denying it, and then trying to make up a story about when they knew about it, what they were going to do about it, how they were going to shoot it down. The list goes on and on.
So, Senator, what's really execrable, it's politicizing national security. It's politicizing the security for all Americans. Senator Marsha Blackburn, thanks for all of your hard work, and thanks for joining us tonight. It's good to see you.
You got it. Take care.